So I welcome sandy puzzles, so-called sandy puzzles, with open arms.
Puzzles, quote unquote, yeah.
Yep. Up until I completely... Well, right now I have no idea what I've done there. I probably pressed some couple switches and probably did something around here. I just haven't explored everything yet. I mean, there was
Probably, yeah.
it is discussion on this kind of thing in one of the topics on Doomworld recently. I think it was the one where I was outraged by the term bad design. That the idea, there's the concept of finding a switch before finding something that this switch opens is just so bad, because no one can... Oh, maybe no, maybe it was in... Well, it doesn't matter where it was. Just this thing that some people think that you should definitely find the key before the locked door, or no, the other way around. People think that you should definitely find the locked door before the key, or the bars before the switch, and such. I don't think that's really true. I have no problem with not knowing what the switch did if there's a lot of places I still haven't been to. I have no problem with not knowing which door exactly was opened by that particular switch. Because, I mean, I can progress, it's not stopping me from progressing, so I don't have to know 100% what the mechanics
I think
were.
it very much depends. I mean, I probably wouldn't pull a trick like that right at the start. I mean, unless it was really simple, not overly complex. I mean, the issue was resolved within like a minute at the most, or the map was still small enough that you could naturally figure it out. But if you can educate the player through, your own unique brand of level design, and to get him into the sort of frame of mind in which he'll be able to anticipate these sort of events, to hit a switch and then not be surprised that absolutely nothing comes of it, and he has to sort of use his intuition to solve the problem, then that's okay. But if you put the player in a position where he expects to be shown what that switch does, then that's going to be a problem. It's just to suddenly throw something that like him.
It's all in the conditioning. Also, unless all of these... Oh, they do open. Did you say Essel made this, right? And
Essel, and this is my favorite.
Oh boy, I didn't even see him. Shit. Okay. It's just that dark on my monitor that I didn't see him until I grabbed the invulnerability. Hello. I hope this was the only one in this area.
It's kind of tragic, really, because that was a really fun setup. And if that were done in a more modern map set, some of them at least, then there probably wouldn't be an invulnerability then, make better use of it. But since it's a Doom 2, I mean, they just would put an invulnerability there. I mean, map 10 set up with the teleporting cyber demon, that's fun. It would be funner if there wasn't an invulnerability there, but there is, so it's kind of... You can only really admire it as a cool setup that gets nullified. God damn it.
Yeah. Foiled again.
Foiled. I think there probably was something that you missed back in that mini sludge pool door opening setup thing.
Perhaps, but I'm willing to get the yellow key somewhere else. Unless, of course, it is there, but I think I will just slowly explore this map for now, I mean the open part, to see if there's any other places I could have entered the building or something like that. Yeah. And yeah, this isn't really that kind of slightly slower map like the map that this reminded me of, the water park from Heroes Tales, because it's really not that dangerous outside. But I'm glad, because, well, slaughter map would have been really out of place. Even though, I don't know, maybe downtown kind of was like that for me initially when I first played. It felt, I think there was a lot of revenants or something outside, and it felt extremely dangerous just running there. Oh, fantastic.
Good at Doom.
Dude, I'm so great at Doom.
The best around. Nothing's ever going to keep you down. Yeah, the revenants, I think, in one building downtown. Actually, it's relatively sparse outside. It just feels like there's a lot of shit attacking you, but there's really not. There's imps in the windows. I guess that's where most of it's coming from. And a couple of Kega demons. On the ground, there's nothing but just arachnotrons.
Well, yeah, but still, it creates that effect of... The fight or flight is... I choose flight, because when there's a lot of stuff on each side, I do not feel comfortable turning at one side and trying to kill someone while other people are killing me from all the other sides. So I just kind of run for cover. This really didn't demand that kind of behavior, and I don't know if I'm grateful or if I'm disappointed, but I guess I am neutral. Let's go.
I mean, this map does to me, on the face of it, it looks a lot more adventurous than it actually turns out being. I mean, it is non-linear. You can, and that sounds quite damning. But I mean, I don't really mind that personally. Hasn't really occurred to me to think of it. I posed that question, I guess. But yeah, it looks like you can go a heck of a lot of places. But it's more bilinear or trilinear, if anything.
Clearly, a lot of maps which are to any extent non-linear, they always feel much more open until you open the map and look at them. I mean, like, I looked here and there's like, what, 4 buildings only. When I'm running, I don't really remember everything, so I felt like there was much more in here. Alright, let's see if I definitely actually kind of missed anything. No, it was just... Wait, what the hell? Where am I? Why did I not remember this?
Good question. No, I think you still need to get back to that puzzle setup thing.
Puzzle, huh? Okay, so...
With the cubes.
Yeah, this is that. Or maybe there was something up there. Oh, this just opens that one door which I went through. I think, yes. And this doesn't look like there's any key in here. Okay. So, where does this put me? Nowhere in particular. Great. I am not sure I missed anything here, to be honest.
No, I think you just gotta get the yellow key to get through that door, which you have not been through. Because the blue key was in this room, of course.
Yeah.
So it seems it was dedicated toward that, and that alone.
Although it would have been kind of funny if a map like one of those maps where you have to... Wait, why did I go here? One of those maps where you have to collect like all 3 keys for the very end, which is sealed by 3 doors. It would have been funny if one of those maps had 2 of the keys in completely the same place, just to throw people off. But maybe people would have complained about that sort of thing, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's taking the Doom 2 mentality of plenty of optional areas a little bit extreme.
Yeah, kind of like, I don't know, maybe making a sandbox kind of map with that kind of setup and 3 obvious big buildings, maybe even decorated with torches of appropriate colors, though they are not corresponding colors for all the keys. And
yeah, this has the red key. Just kidding. This has the blue key. Just kidding. This has the red key or yellow key. Correct. And the blue and the red. What a bitch.
And then yeah, putting all the keys in only one building and the other 2 would have been completely optional. And to just for the icing on the cake make it feel like you press some important switch or accomplished each one of those buildings, when in reality it does absolutely nothing.
Oh, the switches absolutely do do something. They'll lower a big banner outside that says "fuck you."
Okay, now I am definitely not feeling like there's a place that I haven't visited yet. Let's look on that.
I think you cross over that bridge in the middle there, back into that. Yeah, here in front of you there. Gotta go back to that teleportation.
I think I was there for like 100 times.
Deal.
What did that
Well,
do?
that sure is a switch. Yeah, it sure was pressed.
Fantastic. I probably pressed it before, so I don't know. Let's cross the bridge. I was definitely here before. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, and I probably went in here, which deposited me in some place that I don't recognize. Oh yeah, this place.
Yeah, I think there's a setup, yeah, that you didn't quite see through. I think there might be 2 teleportation pads.
Okay, there is something I haven't explored here. Let's see what opens this side. There we go.
Gigglesworth.
That was extremely easy to find.
Ashful 7, you're a champion of the cause. Or is that Ashful 6? I can't tell.
This one?
Yes, it's delicious. Rub your face against it. Feels
Especially
rough texture.
In my resolution, it's absolutely marvelous at any sort of distance.
Beautiful. Oh, congratulations.
Oh boy, let's do that again.
I admit I'm the sort of person who, if I fall off a place and I know the route to get back up there easily, I'll just clip. But I think Rot King has a key that is just bound to no clip, specifically for that purpose. Sometimes I get so impatient that if a lift comes down and it takes 3 seconds to go down back up, I'll just clip up it.
I know, I don't do that.
I'm just that impatient.
I do have a key, of course, obviously, but I don't do that for some reason. Oh, hello.
Hey, teleporting monsters. It's Suburbs 2.0.
Where was that place? Oh, there it was. Goodbye, I am not going to pay attention to any of you if I can afford it.
It's quite rude.
Yeah, fuck them. They were rude in the first place. Oh. Fuck off. Alright, great success.
Extremely rude.
This is a strange looking place for once. Shadows, man, probably did. The shadow looked like something extremely cool and not something that was in the original games, but who are we kidding? There were a lot of cool shadows.
There were a couple of moments where we noticed sort of cool design elements and appearance, aesthetics that, at least in my case, I sort of looked at them and said, "Really? Does it ever look that good?" And then, I mean, particularly with the maps like this one where it had an outdoor perimeter, I wasn't even aware that Sandy used shadow casting, like on the outside, like he put, like Romero even does it in episode 1 of Doom.
Yeah.
But no, he doesn't. He does it in Downtown. He puts a shadow trim around the spine. I didn't know that. I thought it was all just one color. Brightness
Cool.
level.
I also didn't know that, so something new. The only place where I can remember really standing out shadows is that one, the beginning room of E2M7 from Doom 1. I think there were at least some lighting effects there, if I'm not completely misremembering.
The only thing I can think of is that it has two outdoor areas, one which is pitch black and the other which is reasonably well lit.
Well, the time of day changes while you're...
You'd be playing in co-op and they're both standing in those two different areas, you know.
Or, yeah.
Hey Sam, sure is sunny today. Hey Tom, no it's not. It's fucking night time, what's the matter with you?
Oh,
That's the adventures of Sammy and Tom there.
Cool. Are there more?
No. They died against the cyber demon. That was all she wrote. Their logs live on.
Tragic. Okay, I successfully loving the flying exit.
There's a classic Sandy setup of just teleporting your way to an exit in hell that is completely aside from the rest of the map. It's
now
very
this place just by itself is completely marvelous. You can see
No, I love
a
it.
bit of mountain there. If you press yourself against here, you can see, and that's kind of shit, but still cool. Woohoo! I would not have jumped there if I was in Doom Guy's shoes, but he's just...
Yeah, but this is the same Doom guy that, quote, rappelled down to the surface of hell, and
Oh, yeah, right.
at the end of episode 2.
Yeah, he just... maybe he had the parachute.
From Deimos, which was floating in the sky. So this is a map that I really wanted to get your opinion on, because you were talking, I think it was during one of the... it might have been map 20, yeah. You were saying, I really love the sort of setup with the chasm in the middle, but it would look terrible if it had... or I wouldn't like it as much if it had sky. So this is that map that I was talking about. It's by Tansman. Of course, Blur, he does all the maps for this. And as once again, obviously, no prizes for guessing what authors this is in.
I'm trying to think of someone who didn't work on Doom at all, but I failed, so I... Oh, Level Lord. Maybe it is Level Lord's level. But yeah, obviously.
Sure.
Actually, I think you're...
Maybe a Battle Lord will just crop in at the exit.
You're kind of slightly misremembering what I said. I said that I love huge indoor places. I don't think I said that huge outdoor places are shit. But I remember you saying that you were interested in how
I think you were more talking about that approach to layout and how you kind of preferred the sort of chasm appearance when it doesn't have a sky. Or am I misquoting you again?
I think you just completely made it up. The only thing I can remember of saying in that place was that I completely enjoyed huge indoor areas on an entirely different level than huge outdoor levels, obviously, but still, I didn't... If I did say that, I didn't really mean to say that I hate it, because it was the Gorge, and I liked the Gorge, and I had no problem with the Gorge, and I had no problem with other levels like that, but there's just something about indoor places of this magnitude that just, I don't know, works for me. Just atmosphere skyrockets completely. And,
cool.
Well, this is just Gorge 2.0, actually no, 2.0, but... it only serves to question either Gorge was too hellish for E1, or this is too mundane for Hell. But there is something definitely wrong when you have two maps which look completely alike. One of them is in the first episode, one is in the last. Although maybe not in the case of Doom 2, because, well, you can't really say there's something really wrong with Doom 2, because it had a lot of stuff. Oh boy, that was magnificent.
Well, incidentally, this map was going to be in map 13, or one of those slots. So you can just picture it with the city sky and then see how that works.
I think it works exactly with the first sky, actually, only because the cities don't really have this sort of cliffs in them. At least none of the cities I've seen on the internet, or been to, which isn't very much, but still. Was there really such a map in Doom 2? I mean, the Living End is the only one I can think about. It was this large, but it was still indoors for the most part. And I don't really remember a big Romero outdoor map like that at all. In Doom 2
no,
or
but I mean,
1,
that's something very specific. I mean, when you're talking about, I can't think of a Romero map that had sky in this sort of setup. And I mean, all I can say is, but he could have done it, and he would have done it, if he gave him enough time. Mr. Romero.
Yeah, I guess this is a very.
I mean, he might have not made it look exactly like Living End in its sort of setup, which is this is very similar to, once again, as with quite a few other Romero maps to this project. I think like 4 in total that take the 3 or 4 in total that take the Living End approach. But
I don't
know.
Huh. I don't know. Maybe it's just the case of.
I'm ending on a conjunction.
Cool. Maybe it's just not the case of that one situation which I think I mentioned way back, where if something is different from Doom 2, it is harder to accept that it feels like Doom 2, even though there is nothing saying that they would not have done that. Because I don't remember such a map from Doom 2 or 1. It's a bit harder for me to say, yeah, he probably would have done that, no problem. Of course, it's entirely my fault in this case, which is rare. But this is one of those cases when it's my fault. Okay. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of these kinds of maps in this WOD. They just completely open huge height variations, and not in the downtown kind of open in height variations, but in the
downtown. Incidentally, isn't that high?
Well, there are some. I think there are some buildings,
tall, but it's really not. Certainly, Essel was one of the folks who subconsciously, maybe, as with myself, but I didn't end up making a map that was so ginormously tall in places. I mean, I did kind of with Bedlam, but it wasn't that high. It wasn't that tall. Yeah, Essel was one of those folks who probably subconsciously thought that, downtown was a really tall level. Massive skyscrapers, that sort of thing. And so when he ended up doing the gorge, as I think I might have said, it was downsized towards the conclusion of the development. That central area with the blood pit and the blue key used to be a lot taller than that. But Doom 2 never got that high. I can't remember what its tallest sector is. It might be 800 or something.
I know. I just remember there being like a very tall. I don't know, maybe there's just like one balcony where you jump from onto other building or something like that in downtown. Maybe it was even not downtown, maybe it was industrial zone. Don't know, I think it was downtown. And that just gave the impression that the map was hella tall. Maybe just in comparison to the other maps from the same game.
Maybe that, or it could have been industrial zone.
Industrial zone actually doesn't feel that as tall as downtown to me, but that's just me. Yeah, the gorge was definitely much bigger than anything in episode 1 in Doom 2 still, even after the downsize. Okay, this guy's behind the wall.
So the name for this map, damn straight, Triple Pump. Very proud of it. I went on a map naming spree, which unfortunately did not include map 7 for some reason. Oh wait, yes, I know what the reason is. I just couldn't think of one. That's the reason. Shouldn't me. I exhausted my creative wells before I got to that point. But damn straight, yeah. There's a structure in this which is really straight. There's a strait of water, or nukage in this case. And damn straight, the phrase, that's right. Triple one, all the points, when I get the internets.
Cool. If I had spare internets to give, I would definitely send them to you.
Multiple ethernets are me.
Unfortunately, I used them all up for my cell phone. That's how I got this good at things on the internet. Okay. There is something still lurking behind these bars, and I don't like it. I also don't like not knowing what I just did. Did I even press? Was this a switch? Yes, I think it was a switch. Okay. Oh, these lamps are so bright. Yeah,
They are.
I definitely opened something by pressing this.
Did you say at one point that you don't recall? Oh, no, I never actually found this secret before. Oh, that looks like a bleeding flat. Unless it isn't a bleeding flat, the stream quality is just... No, it looks fine. Do I recall you saying at some point that you don't recall Sandy using that much high contrast lighting?
Yeah, I think it was in Gambit, in that one place where I said looks much more contrasted than anything else.
I'm not going to speak for Tarnsman, because he's probably the most thorough out of all of us when it comes to emulating other styles. But he does himself love stark contrast lighting. It's one of his big things. Sort of large, bulky, letting the texture do the work, sort of minus... complete lack of minor sector detailing unless it's for humor, and just really working with contrast through textures and lighting. So that's his deal. So it's possible that's just a Tarnsman sort of trait sneaking into his mapping, and doing what I almost did, or confessed to have almost done with Bedlam, and saying, well, I really want this concept to work. So even if the author I'm emulating doesn't necessarily do it, maybe I can get away with it if I just sort of convince myself enough. Not saying that's what Tarnsman's thought process was, and I think he's actually watching this series now, so if he hears me saying that, then he'll be able to shout at me at the appropriate mode in like a few weeks' time. Say, you're wrong.
Fun. But looking at that map and that placement of that map, I didn't really think that he was trying to make it pretty by doing that contrast. I hope he'll forgive me for saying that. Yes. Looking at Gambit, it didn't really feel like Gambit was supposed to be a pretty map. And in fact, I think it was supposed to be one of those shit maps which you said that Termans would have been disappointed if I didn't hate it. I really hope so now.
So is he disappointed?
I don't know. It wasn't as outrageous. I don't know about the visuals, but at least the name or concept wasn't as outrageous as fucking Trips or Tracks. So, Trips or what? Tricks or Traps?
So he could just be mildly uncomfortable then.
Yeah, he could be slightly upset for a couple hours at most.
Sort of cry into his cereal and then... Well, go. I guess we're back to being upset again. Hey, look, a Baron. And again, in true Romero style, it's guarding something. What a dick. Put him down like the dog that he isn't.
Actually, there's an interesting thing I realized in a thread about Bedlam the WOD, and I posted it, but, well, it's so important that I feel I should repeat it here. I remember you people, at least, talking about Barons in your streams a lot. And you usually
do way too much, yeah.
You usually say that the best use of Barons is like a mid shield or something, when there's a lot of people around and a Baron in there just to be a huge bullet sponge or something like that. I found, just from watching a demo of my level where there's a couple Barons and the person playing wasn't really killing them, was letting them roam, I found that my favorite use of Barons by far is putting them in levels where maybe it's early in the wood and maybe it's just the ammo deprived levels in general, where you cannot be arsed to kill them, and you have to let them just roam the level, so that, and the levels should be non-linear for that, sufficiently non-linear, so that you're walking around, finding keys, pressing switches, and you bump into that Baron all the time, and he's just walking around being a presence that you forget about and that can kind of sneak up on you and kill you.
But I think it's a really good idea. I remember when Tarnsman and I were reviewing Hateophobia, we were looking at map 4, which was a purist map, and it starts off with this great big canyon.
Fantastic.
And we were just thinking about the story elements and how the monster usage or something could somehow improve it, something to that effect. And then we started thinking about, why not have, since we don't really have an arsenal yet, suicide. Since we don't really have any ammo to go along with that. Ordnance, why not just put a cyber demon, just put it at the start, have him chase you down the canyon. So it's up to that you can't fight it. That'd be fun, that'd feel cinematic, and then, it wouldn't be treated necessarily as a monster.
Yeah, cyber demons are probably for...
Maxes would hate you.
Oh, well, there's people behind. I thought there was a wall behind me, I don't know why I assumed that. Why I expected comforting and comfortable layouts. Cyber Demons are probably for bigger maps and more extreme challenges like that, but I know, just maybe I was just so intimidated by Doom in my youth that I ended up even dreaming of levels like that when there's just a lot of not really open but really kind of I don't know what's the best level as an example for it, maybe like containment area or something, where there's just it's just a network of corridors and rooms and everything completely non-linear, and you just roam, you just as we said before, we both seem to like this kind of scrounging for ammo kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
And just not having ammo or health or anything, and having to not kill monsters, just running around dodging them, finding anything you can use to oppose them. That's the sort of style I very much would appreciate if there was more of in Doom maps, and I felt Barons are probably the monster for that. So there we go. Now someone should go and make them to appease me so that I do not spam the
I
films.
think I might just attempt something like that, Antroid. I hear your plea for more of such maps.
You make it sound like I'm begging, but I'm suggesting ways to improve the
Proposition.
Yes. Let's settle on that.
I put it to the Doom community. He opens up a scroll, reads it like a fucking harbinger for a king. So this is the eponymous Dam Strait, as we are about to discover. Giant goddamn bridge rising up in front of you.
Should have made it a quadruple pun and made it a dam, which was straight. That would have been just overwhelmingly funny.
You'll have to take the internet's back.
Haha. But I already have all of them, so yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Oh, another case of...
I really like the setup here. I think this is a pretty memorable gameplay encounter.
Oh boy, there's more of them than I
Flying
thought.
monsters, and then crossing the bridge, and then doing the things.
No, I'm not even crossing the bridge yet. And yeah, there's... I am hoping to trap the pain elementals in these little corners where they're completely useless, like... No! Fuck you.
It's remarkable. I don't know how it works here. The geometry must be catered such that this is the case, but they always seem to get in. Doesn't matter what angle I'm trying to sit at.
I thought there was a place where I could climb. Oh no. Great.
Yeah, teleport your corpse.
Always worth. Actually, I'm very surprised that monster corpses also get teleported apparently.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
That fact has been utilized for quite a while. Was myself and Tansman and Clone Pickle. Unfortunately, not Dime, who you may or may not know is a speedrunner. We're racing, blind racing, Eternal Doom, which is just a complete. It's an exercise in absolute masochism for the entertainment of those who would rather watch us struggle. That appears to be a side demon. But there's a map there which does precisely that trick. You get locked into a room for 30 seconds. Corpses having previously exploded into the room, and then an arch file comes out, and then you get to watch him resurrect everything before the door opens again. It's quite a neat little trick.
That's cool. I only noticed because I enjoy running through my own maps with after pressing this key, and sometimes I'm very surprised when in one of the traps that I made there's like just a corpse teleporting in front of me and I go, what? But you know, that's pretty much how I found out that they do that, I guess. I probably used conveyor belts for those particular traps because I don't think
yeah, that's a boom thing. Well, couldn't be done in vanilla. If you do MBK, then it's done on the spot.
And if you in vanilla you could just use barrels to propel them, and while dying they might be teleporting to you, but if there's like a trap that activates only somewhere down along in the map, which I don't know, only springs when you get somewhere, walk somewhere, and then a corpse teleports, that's definitely a sign that this is not vanilla. And yeah, vanilla was very disappointing.
So back when Tansman made this setup, there wasn't a cyber demon here, and it just seemed like an absolute no-brainer. Like, if you want to make a cinematic encounter, coming off the back of, since we've just been discussing it, purist map 4 and heterophobia, this is precisely the sort of situation in which one you should use it. Unless, maybe I guess you could have an arch file. Provided there are corpses on the bridge, you could probably do something interesting with it. But watching the cyber demon just walk down the bridge after you, if you don't have the ammo to take care of it, it's kind of scary.
I can imagine it. Oh. Ah.
Yay!
Almost.
No, it's not too much.
What, the dodging in extremely close quarters like that?
Yeah, yes. Antroid, you should just release your inner Gandalf and just be done with it.